January 6, he and another boy decided to climb the mountain Hymba, one of the highest in the Ukrainian Carpathians, array Borzhava, almost a mile above sea level. While down, the terrain looked familiar to the children. It seemed time to move to civilization. It was still like we need a forest, just like we drove a little further. Vitalik, something happened to Camus. He says, you go ahead, I'll catch up. I said that in 10 minutes it will wait, and so he walked in my footsteps. But then a snowstorm all along, complete milk, strong wind. And Acne has not found my tracks and went in a different direction, said Igor Grishchenko. But to move up the hill, the wind blew, the snow and ice remained, was very difficult. When it is fully dark, we decided to run somewhere. Went into the woods and there slept. But the real dream can be called very conditional. -15 minutes of lying, then 15 minutes devs, did different exercises, waving feet and hands, squats. Once asleep for more than an hour. Woke up cold and decided that so long more will not sleep. And the body gave, probably involved the instinct of self-preservation, says Igor, on the first night in a snowy forest. So go to civilization failed, and Igor was forced again to spend the night in the winter woods, but the second night was worse, because for a long time was without food, felt bad, was sick. Severe fatigue. All of that has accumulated. And clothes start to freeze, especially in the morning, because membrane clothing for skiers at least, and breathing, but if it is not dry, it is covered with a crust of ice. And completely soaked the gloves. Almost a day he lay in the hay, which gave a false sense of protection from the cold. It was a mistake. I felt like I was there shorter and I didn't do permanent charge. In the hayloft, Igor still managed to warm up the phone and call one of the friends. He vaguely tried to explain that it is located near an unknown stream. Near the hut above him flew a helicopter. Later the guy finds out it was a helicopter sees, who was looking for him, flying 50 meters over my head, but didn't see me. The 5-day search of the tourist Kiev continue. Over his rescue, lifeguard, police, SPU officers, foresters, guards, volunteers, the local population and family guy. The first thing he said to me, happy birthday. Poured strong mulled wine and gave the sandwich. This is the wife cooked. He recalls the first few minutes after he found. He suggests that frostbite them in the barn when he thought that worms and not working out. If I still had to spend the night there, the next night, I probably would not have survived. His wife Lara, who all the time searches were in the Carpathians and communicated with rescuers, said, this is a minimal health effects. With this frostbite and such a long hike it could be much worse, as terms of amputations, and in the internal organs. Such a depletion of the body just does not pass. But the rescuers are fully aware of the sort of work they do. They know all the risks much better than those who criticize and talk about avalanche danger, she says. Moving was unreal. An experienced rescuer, Eugene Chisma, which all these days was looking for Igor, told me that the trees were above him. Avalanche probe went under the snow along with a hand is more than 2 meters, says Lero. And thanks to all involved, even on the third day the rescuers had no desire to give up, despite fatigue. Softened at night, though, as we said, not everywhere in Europe rescuers work at night. It is important for them to find someone to save a life. Igor himself says that he would like anything I can to help, and at the ranger station, and Wogimbi, I want to help the infrastructure on Borzhava. For example, concreted poles and stretch the rope as Dragobrat, so people just saw benchmarks where to go. This will give tourists to move accidentally to the other side of the mountain. Igor Grishchenko says that even after experiencing not refused to ski and active lifestyle, work was already in the ski. Although careful, because not all healed. Explains that to survive in the cold mountains he had helped prepare the parents of the master of sports on mountaineering since his childhood and listened to stories about hiking in the mountains. However, the error admits, now I know that in the fog it is better not to go anywhere, and need to come down. If you're going to go to the mountains, be sure to prepare. Take a minimal survival kit, beeper, a device for finding people in avalanches. Ed. Nuts are a snack, something high in calories to charge the head. On both their phones of the popular brand Guilaments, this phone is not for gore at all. One had 40% charge when it turned off cold. Still need to have the health and courage to at least not give up. I didn't panic because I wanted to live and get out of the situation with minimal losses, says Igor.